Hi, I'm Kevin Berry. Most of you know me. I wanted to do a quick little troubleshooting demo on the 440. We're not trying to make you guys into mechanics. We know you're salesmen. But what we want is we want you to be able to do the basic where you can be a problem solver for your customer. He is more likely to buy something from you knowing that you know the equipment as far as you could help the basic. We're not saying that we want you tearing the whole pump apart, but let's go over just the basic on troubleshooting. We know is the biggest reason why somebody has a pump that's not running is either they left it in storage and they didn't prepare it, clean it properly before it went into storage, or that they sucked up some garbage. What is a telltale is when the pump is running, stroking up and down, yet he's not getting any, building any pressure. We know the rest of the pump is good. It has to be in here. Here's how we go about looking at that. First thing we want to do is we can tilt the pump back. I'm going to take my suction set off just so we're not fighting it. That's all. It's just this clip, spring-loaded clip, took it out. The next thing is this clip right here. I'm doing it with my fingers. Depending on if it's full of paint or what, you may need a screwdriver to pull it out. That's your clip to pull this lower off. Then that comes off. That's all that is. We now have access to the ball. So if it was stored and that's stuck, it might be as simple as just freeing that up. But or you see garbage in there. But often you want to take off the bottom foot valve. I have a pliers because that's more practical. Open end wrenches, this just takes a larger one. But I'm going to unscrew the lower foot valve and get access to the ball assembly. Okay, so I take this off. This piece right here, all that is a spacer. I'm going to put that back in here for now. Then, most of the time you can take a screwdriver or anything and just pluck this. It's called a ball stop. There's also a little O-ring that's on the top. So I take the O-ring, the ball stop. There's the ball and the ball seat. Now this was a new pump and you see it all dropped out like that. Sometimes it won't happen. Inside there's also a little white nylon gasket. You don't have to touch that. But I'm going to put this back and real quick show you how it can be if this thing is full of paint and it's been years that the guy worked at. It may not just pick off real clean. You may have to take a socket that's sized in around the foot seat, and then you would bang that and it knocks the whole assembly out, you see? But don't do that unless you have to. So, but that's this. Now we have the whole assembly out there. We'd clean this because almost always it's dirt or dried paint that's in there. That's most of the time it's right there in the lower bottom foot valve. Sometimes it could be that the garbage sucked up through that larger ball and went up here into the upper smaller ball. And what you want to make sure is that that's rattling, that ball's rattling. You can flush it out. There is an Allen screw, but let's face it, we're salesmen. If it's a matter of you taking this apart to get at the upper ball and seat, maybe you want to send it to a mechanic. It's really not that hard. Except when you're putting that back, you would need Loctite. So that's why I'm saying that I think if you just flushed water in there and make sure that's clean and pop off the ball that's rattling, you're good to go. You have access to the upper ball as well as the lower ball because these are stationary packings, both are upper and lower. So you don't have to rebuild like other brands. You have to put a whole new packing kit in to get access to your upper ball. But that's it. And then we go ahead, we make sure it's clean, and we'll go ahead in the opposite, we'll put it back. So we put our seat, by the way, the seat is reversible, so you can use both sides of it, okay? The seat, the ball, and then the ball stop, and the nylon O-ring goes in there. I'm just gonna set it down so that the gravity pulls it down like that. Screw that back in. A lot of threads. And then we're gonna snug that up. Let's snug that up. You'll see that the angle, that 90-degree angle, goes to the right rear. It lines up like that. You have to knock it in, because if you look here, it has to be all the way up tight to that foot valve. Otherwise, this clip won't go in place. It won't lock in place. So that has to be all the way up tight. That's it. The clip goes back in. I'm going to put my suction set. It's always good to have a little bit of grease or oil on this as well. But we go ahead, push that in. This goes in on an angle, goes on an angle, goes back in place. And now we put it in water and we should be good. If it's more than that, you can bring it into SureWorks and they can look at it. But that's the basic on most likely probably 80% of what's going wrong with a 440. That's it.